why we're calling it Dawn Bloom. I'm going to break down every part of the lesson into steps. I'm going to explain the techniques. I'm going to do it in real time. I'm going to show you the color mixes. And to help me do that is my husband, John.
Hello.
Now, he helps me teach you guys art by using robotic cameras and really zooming into action. So if a technique requires you to have a better view, he's going to get right on in there. If you need to see what's going on overhead, he puts my little face in different places around the image so that you can see what's happening. Now, on our website, TheArtSherpa.com, if you check the description below, there's a link that will take you to the video page. There is no draw option, so there you don't have to draw. I keep saying this wrong. I got to get the colon or the spacing in the right place. So basically what it is, you don't have to draw to be able to do this painting, and there is a traceable. There's also a reference image, and I do recommend having that somewhere on your screen that you can look at it, or also somewhere maybe you print out that's a good way. We pop it in and out on the video sometimes, but it can be a little bit weird on the real estate of this setup. Is that about accurate on that?
That's about accurate.
If you want to see what materials I'm using, check the description down below. As usual, as we come up to Acrylic April, my 30-day free daily painting program that's coming up, everything is sold out. And so what Amazon does, apparently when they sell out your product, is they don't just say link is sold out, they just put some other weird thing there. So
if you like that, you'll like this.
I did get the canvases fixed. We're going to be, if you ever see a link that's wrong, just write support at theartsherpa.com and tell us what video is and what link it is. I'm interested in fixing that. I want you guys to shop, but I want you guys to get what you're looking for. Oh, Tuesday. Twinkle Tuesday, relax Tuesday, mellow out Tuesday. I really, really am excited to do this painting.
This is super nice.
This is one I wanted to do, so I'm kind of pumped to do it. I have an 8x8 surface here, and it says hope and light for those who need it. I like to put wishes and intentions on the canvas, just to put that into the universe and energy out there. I am sporting a wet palette. Let's start with our background colors. We're going to start with white, blue, and a little bit of green. I'll put those out, and I will tell you each color specifically and where it is. That way you know at home when you're following along. So don't feel like I'm going to expect you to be like psychic to know that that's phthalo blue or that's titanium white, because I'm not going to expect. I mean, if you are psychic, very cool. That's very cool, but I don't expect it. It's not necessary to paint with me.
I once thought I was psychic.
Did you really?
I was wrong.
Were you wrong?
I was not.
You might be wrong.
I
Now,
didn't see it coming.
the nice thing about an 8x8 surface, John, is that it's pretty easy to plan or plot out a simplistic landscape like this. And I've rated this 3 hoot, which is, I have a 3 hoot rating, a 1 hoot, a 2 hoot, a 3 hoot. It's just basically a fun way of saying that 1 hoot means you really can come into this and have no terms or skills or understanding at all and easily do it. Easily being a relative term, because whenever you learn something new, there's always challenges. 2 hoot is you kind of know some stuff, and 3 hoot is that maybe there's a lot of techniques or there's an unusual color or it's longer. And this one is rated 3 hoot because I expect to spend some time playing with it, but I don't expect any of the techniques themselves to be particularly difficult. Let's take the canvas and we're going to measure it in half. Oh, John, give us a step 1.
Oh, I can do that.
So we are, in 2021, we are time stamping all of our videos for 2 reasons. We produce free downloadable mini books. They come out it was like 7 days, but we're going so fast. It's about 7 to 14 days after the video comes out. There is a step-by-step written out mini book. And we also, like to timestamp it. The reason being, when you follow along, you can find step 1 again or step 2 because it'll be marked out on the video. So it'll match the book, match the video. It makes it much easier.
And I think it is so cool that I have these cool little overlay buttons that I can't help but use them.
You do seem to be very excited.
I like them.
This is an 8-ish canvas. You will find that there is not a precision community in a lot of canvases. You got to get into the really good pro canvases before they really care about measurements. This is a problem actually when you frame. I was talking with somebody about this today. We're going to make a mark at the 4-inch line, and we're going to draw a line in half. This is a watercolor pencil, which means it's not going to bleed through or stain my paint. And the paint can still paint over an oil pencil. It wouldn't be able to. You could use chalk or something.
Magic.
It's a little magic-y. It's not that magic-y, but it's a little magic-y. It has some magic elements to it. We'll say that. That seems doable, right? Some magic elements. Anyways, what was I saying?
That it was a pencil that would not
No,
mark.
before that.
You got to make the flat lines. You're drawing lines to make sure you make horizontal.
I was saying something important, and then I lost my thought.
I'm sorry.
You guys remind John, and then he'll remind me, and then I'll tell you because it was relevant.
You know what?
I am a good teacher.
This is live.
And I will show you how to paint this painting. I might meander on a story or two. I'm going to take a large brush. This is a number 26. They'll remind him. Otherwise, there'll be a question at the end going, you never finished the story.
All right, we'll get the story.
I'm going to take some titanium white and come to the top here.
I think you were telling him what that T-square was. Framing on a non-8x8?
Oh, yes. That is important for you guys. I'm going to paint white all the way up to the top. This is taking it up there. And then we're going to get just a smidge of blue onto the brush and come back down. So when your canvas is not perfectly sized, it actually costs you a little more in framing if you get custom framing done. Because the framer has to adjust for that missize. So it's true the canvas saves you money on its cost, but if you're framing the piece, it can actually increase the money. And that's something that sometimes catches beginners by surprise. We're just making a nice light blue up top. I come across here. I've turned my canvas to the side so that I can get a nice straight stroke because I find that that's the direction that I do the best. I want this to be very light because I'm going to be bringing a lot of yellow and pink and some interesting colors down here. So this is just a light beginning.
It's just a light.
Just a light beginning. It's not white, but it's very light. So that's something, sometimes if you know a piece is going to have a gorgeous custom molding on it, you're taking it to the framer, you know it's a big deal gift, you're giving it this holiday, you're going to want to do that on a really quality canvas that's measured out very specifically, and that will save you hundreds and hundreds and hundreds on the frame. I'm going to take my green and just paint the bottom half green. Why do we paint ahead of time? We do this because it makes a lot of these colors are really transparent.
Yes.
Not because they're not quality, but because it's the nature of the pigment. If you get a nice colored ground going as you paint loosely or expressively or glaze, there's a rich color to build up from, and it will give you a nicer finished result. Doesn't need to be perfect, it just needs to be there. Also, acrylic sticks really well to acrylic. If you've ever stored two paintings facing each other and they became married to never be separated ever, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Acrylic sticks really well to acrylic. Rinse out these brushes between painting sessions and make sure you wash all your brushes every time after every painting session thoroughly. And you're like, oh, well, you sell soaps. That's why you mean to do it. Use Dawn. You don't have to buy my soap. Heck, half the time I'm sold out. Just
buy
wash
our soap. Buy our soap.
Do we have soap right now?
You should buy ours. Yes, we got a lot.
Okay.
We have so much soap.
So we have soap right now. And it's great. It's wonderful. And I love it. And I wouldn't make it if I didn't.
Pay our electric bill.
You can use Dawn. You can use anything that doesn't have oils in it. But what you cannot do is leave your brushes unwashed. If you take anything else away from me as a beginner, take that away.
That's true. What are you doing, Mother? She's supposed to warn me before she does that. So she's going to dry the surface, and I imagine after this we're going to take a step. But what's important is to make sure you thoroughly dry between these different layers, because as she said, the sort of transparent nature of some of these pigments, which actually I found out was harder to reproduce than you'd think. So it would be easy for some of these paint companies to just make an opaque paint, but to make a semi-translucent paint that performs the way the original pigment did is actually much more challenging than you'd think. So making it translucent is actually a goal of the paint company.
For which thing?
Some pigments.
Well, and it's their nature.
Yeah.
Phthalos are a glaze. They're a very transparent color, whereas some colors are very opaque, like titanium white. Zinc white's a very transparent color.
Are we going to step this?
We are going to give step 2. I'm going to come through here. I think I want a smidge of Cad Red. I'm going to tell you guys all the colors. You take the painting and get a step-by-step picture. We also have step-by-step pinnables on the videos, so you can pin these on your Pinterest. And if you're not following me on Pinterest, you should solely follow me on Pinterest. My pin game is not bad. I got a pretty good pin game. I'm going to tell you all the colors I'm putting out. Don't worry. Again, we're not going to expect you to know without it being explained or pointed out what I'm doing or why I'm doing it. That seems mean and unfair to do to people in general. All right. I think I will. I don't know if I'm going to need ultramarine. We'll hold ultramarine to the side for right now. See how our sky is going. And if we need it, we will put it out. And again, all the paint colors are listed down below. And then these are just the ones I'm using in 2021. So if you have these, you can do at least, I don't know, 200 lessons is what it comes out to. Because I do a lot of lessons in the year. That's a lot of free art for just buying a few paint colors that, I mean, who doesn't love that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to draw a little line so you can see something.
Draw a little line.
We're going to draw a little line so you can see something. Now, if you imagine that this canvas is in half and in half, right? Right? There is about a ½ inch or an inch of distant, wonderful little tree lines that we're going to do some really cool foggy effects. And we're going to do it without zinc. However, to create the wonderful dawn that we have going on here, I don't want to do a bunch of work to the horizon here and then have to paint over it with trees. I want to know where my trees are. So we're going to say that's about an inch above that halfway point that we're even going to start. And I'm going to begin with a bright. This is a number 20 bright. I'm going to get it a little bit wet. And I'm going to mix one of my very favorites, which is my Quinacridone Magenta and my Naples Yellow. If you don't know anything about Naples Yellow or don't have Naples Yellow, I have a blog about that. There are exchanges, there are workarounds, or you can just use Cad Yellow or Hansa Yellow. You can use the yellow that you have.
I would say of all the yellows, I know more about Naples than any other yellow.
We do now. So we're going to start putting out this kind of pinking orange color. I love it, I love it, I love it. Right here in the center. And you can see I'm just brushing back and forth. I'm on the edge of my bristles, and that's giving me a softer effect. I can get a little of my Cad yellow into this as I go. And a little more pink. We're just kind of getting that as we go. Right?
Mm-hmm.
What you don't want to have happen is this to dry on you where you can't blend it. I'm just going to come over the top on the edge of my bristles. I'm just on the toe of the brush. Now we're going to be making a transition to this beautiful blue sky. So let's get some white and come right here and create a light banding. If you need to get more water, get more water. Acrylic paint can be thinned with medium or water. Water being very, very cheap and readily available, so it's nice to use. And then as we come up, we're going to get right into our beautiful phthalo blue. I'm turning to improve my access to my brush stroke, and you'll notice that I am kind of curving that and letting the edges blend into that. kind of a beginning moment there. If you want to soften your edges before the paint is dry, you can take a damp Princeton round blender. I love this brush. It is softer than my cloud brushes, even though it is the same shape, and it's made for blending like what you see here. And this will work until the paint is dry. See how we're doing?
Mm-hmm.
It is a good, that's another thing that will sometimes up the hooting rating is like, oh, you might want to get a brush. But a round blender is a great brush to have in your brush bucket. You can find these on sale. You can get them at a variety of locations. So they're really worth it. And what I'm doing is I'm just making sure I've got a nice little transition space there. Now, I'm going to rinse out. And I'm going to have John take a picture of this. I like breaking down complicated skies like this into smaller bits because I find that if you guys can see it, you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
If I give you too much, it's coming at you too much, then it can get overwhelming in the layers. But if you're like, okay, I got that layer. Okay, I got that layer. You'll have an easier time. So will you put up a step, baby? And I'll sip my tea. I'm tea at 5 in the thing. I am powered by coffee, but right now I'm powered by Celestial Seasonings.
Nursing my last cup.
Is that the name of the tea company? Is it?
Sounds like
Feels like that's the name of the tea company. This is the Fireside Vanilla limited edition. I bought like 20 boxes of it over the holidays because I liked it. Kids are drinking it nonstop. So we're going through it pretty fast. It's herbal, so I can let them enjoy it. All right. So now we have the beginning of that thought of glow. I'm going to stay, kind of in this blender, and we're going to come get some white and a smidge of our Cad Yellow. We're going to come to the top here. I want even more white. Sometimes what you'll see me do is wet my brush and wipe it off on a paper towel. And that is an okay thing to do. Just want to start thinking of the glow that's here. We can get a little of our Quinacridone and our Cad Yellow. And you can see I'm just brushing these areas together. Maybe get more Naples Yellow into it. What was that making the hum? I was like, what is making the hum? But I didn't want to encourage it, so I didn't point it out. I'm grabbing a little more of my pink here. You can also kind of do this is sort of a circular stroke. We're not going circle, 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 circle. We're just putting a little comma into it. We're putting a little curve into it.
Now, you're not using any blending medium or anything, are you?
No, I'm not using any
Just
blending
water.
medium. Just water at this stage. Might grab a little
Thank you, Michelle. Michelle was asking that.
That's a good question. I'm adding a little Cad Red to my yellow, and I'm going to come in from the sides.
Whoop.
Kind of blend
Zoom
this
too
in.
Fast. Lens can't keep up.
Huh?
I zoomed too fast.
You zoom too fast. Sometimes we zoom too fast.
The lens went, whoa!
Whoa! Come over from this. I just like to play with this. This kind of sky is one of my favorites.
Gotta slow down.
I will rinse out often, and as you can see, wipe off on this paper towel. Friendly tool, the paper towel, isn't it? It's a lovely tool. Now we can get a little more just pink. The power of pink compels you.
It's true. It does. You know what I heard?
What?
The coolest thing.
The coolest thing is
okay,
we
maybe not the
tap a
coolest
little
thing.
pink into this, and you can see I'm blending this through.
It may not be the... Okay, so I think it's pretty cool.
Okay.
I heard that the new 2021 iMac comes in pink.
What?
Yeah. That's what I said. I thought it was pretty cool.
Oh my gosh. That's
Because
kind of
they're-
exciting.
Yeah, they actually have 5 different colors.
You know Lisa Vanderpump will have that. I'm going to get a little more white into this. I want this to be pretty light over here. As I come forward, I may even get some Naples Yellow into it. You can always pull your Naples Yellow and white. And again, if you don't have Naples, you just have Cad Yellow, use that. If you just have Hansa Yellow, use that. You'll have maybe slightly different colors than I have in my sunset. Slightly. You can see that I've got a lot of paint on there, and that's why I kind of went back. If I want to blend anything here, I can. You'll come in with some yellow here towards the center. Now, it is true, I very much like this brush. But what's more important is the shape and the color and the value. And you could do this with finger painting. You could do this with a round brush. You could do this with a cat's tongue. You could do this with a lot of brushes. It's just understanding what is required in the space, in the sky.
I have seen people chatting, talking about they have rated their old makeup brushes.
Old makeup brushes, I hear, are fantastic. I want to do a video kind of exploring that. Like, does this thing really work? Kind of.
Oh, brushes.
I'm just bringing these little colors in. So that's looking pretty nice there. Now I know I want things to be light. I'm going to get a little more white into it. Maybe right here, make sure that this is a lighter pink, a nice lighter value. Through here, the blue sky is super light. So we're going to get a little blue in here. Even lighter than that. It's just so light coming out of the central focus of the light in the little dawn here as the sun comes up. There we go. Just pulling a little bit of that very light value. The great thing about knowing that clouds are coming over the top of this too is, you know, some of these lines will be broken up by the clouds. To just add a little more phthalo as we come out. Maybe a little more phthalo as we go out. Isn't that nice? My pressure on my brush is very soft. The brush is damp, not wet. The load is not heavy. You know, you can see it on the bristles, but it's not a heavy load.
Gotcha.
So those are things to pay attention to when you're painting. Let's come over here and do this. We're going to have such a pretty painting at the end of this. Now, where we're coming back towards the center, we can always get a little more white into that and make sure that there's a bit of a gradation.
What's the number on that blender?
This is the number 12 blender. I don't have every blender in the line. I really like this one. They make a Deerfoot stippler in this line that's pretty good.
That's my favorite name.
The Deerfoot stippler?
Stippler.
It's the Deerfoot stippler. Stifler's mom.
It's Stifler's brush.
It might be. Just making sure this is light coming up here. Now, through here, I want to get kind of like a lilac color going. And I think you would think for sure we can come over, get some like maybe purple and quinacridone on it. That's pretty good. And let's come here and make sure that there's a bit of a, I need to get into the blue. I can. See how it kind of goes a little lilac? It goes a little cool.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be a big thing. And if you want to know how to think like an artist on this, or like why this is happening, the brightest, warmest colors in whatever sky that you're painting are going to be where your light source is. And then as you move away from that light source, those colors will cool and become not as vibrant and warm. So that's why we would put, even though there's a bit of pink to this, that this lavender helps us sit there and say, oh, well, there's a little bit of cooling. And you want a little bit of cooling. You do. I'm going to take my Naples Yellow and make sure that this is somewhat focused in the center, as you would. If you were going to do this with your CAD, I would just add a lot of white to your CAD, so you got a very light yellow. All right, let's call that a step.
Okay.
We're going to call it a step, a step, a step, a step, a step.
Okay.
And I'm going to sip my tea. Step 4, what more could you want in a beautiful sky? All right. So my goal for this painting for myself and you guys is to have an image that not only you paint successfully, but that when you look at it, it instantly calms your spirit. I think right now we need to feel a sense of escape. I feel like I've been grounded and I'm in trouble and at home. And the grounding never ends. Just my kids are like, you don't know what it's like to be grounded. I'm like, baby, we all know what it's like to be grounded right now. We're all grounded. You're just extra grounded.
Put the reference photo up there for everybody just for
Yeah. And remember, this is on the website, right? And so and it even has the measurements, the markings to know where the bisections of the canvas are, so you can have an easier time laying it out. Plus, there's the traceable. I also put these in the event and in the Art Sherpa group. So I do try to make sure you guys have access to these, even if we're not going to have them like up heavy like the whole time. If that makes sense. Let's put in some clouds. I think we need some fluffy clouds. All right, in sunsets, if the sun is overhead, the top of the cloud is lightest. If the sun is underneath, is setting or rising, underneath the cloud is the highlight and the top of the cloud is the shadow. And if you kind of reconcile that you will be shading clouds in that way, I'm going to take a little bit of my quinacridone.
Don't shade the clouds.
Into my purple. I'm still going to use my little round here. I'll put some dark outer clouds over here. I take advantage of the fact that this brush is rough. What I'm trying to do is make little broken open spots of clouds.
Now the fact that it's rough helps you not make patterns, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to avoid making patterns, and sometimes I can come up on the toe of my brush and see make little bits. Oh, does not look like a little edge of a cloud coming in. So it helps us.
Now that's the key, is like not to pattern.
The key is to not pattern. The key is to make irregular little shapes. Sometimes when we're doing clouds, what we want to do, what we find ourselves kind of urged to do, you can get up into your blue as you go too, which is interesting. Coming to the outside here, they'll go a little more blue up here because they're away from the light source. And you want to just let some of the clear skies show through.
And you talk about getting back during this phase a lot, taking a step back and looking, and you have a camera setup that helps you do that.
I do have a camera setup that helps me do that. I'm going to just pop a few here.
But the reason why I pull the camera back a little bit is that that's important sometimes to
step back and look at what you're doing. Step back and look at where you're going. It's not only important for me as a teacher to create places for you to step back and look at the journey of how we got here, you know, which is steps. That's really essentially what they are, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
The journey of how we got here. But it's also important for you as students to step back from your work and ask yourselves, how did I get here? So we're making very irregular patterns. We're going to be doing that around the sun. Now, as we come through, you know, you can imagine as we come through here, it's maybe a little more purple red. And then as we go to the outside edges, it might be a little more blue purple. And you want to try to pay attention where you are in relationship to this light. Comcast says my business statement is ready.
I say, Comcast, fix my upload speeds. I keep buffering at unknown times.
Yeah.
Hashtag blame Comcast.
Hashtag truth.
You know.
Hashtag my kid hates when I use the word hashtag.
Just because it's more often their fault than not doesn't mean it's always their fault.
But I love the people who work at Comcast.
They work hard.
They do. They work hard. Sometimes I don't like some elements of the company can be frustrating, but I have always enjoyed the people who come in and installed and helped us. It's one of those things. There's that sort of corporate element, and then there's people. So coming through here, you know, I'll be a little more of the magenta into the purple on these darker clouds in this center. And then as we get, I'm going to bring some of these here as well. You can see it's very soft. And again, we're going to really break this down into steps because this is a complicated sky. If you were trying to watch a speed through on this, it would be very hard to tell how it was built. And we have to remember that in paintings, a lot of times, there's a series of layers that come together, and in the last third of the painting, all of a sudden it's like, what? You're like, yeah, I know. Painting came together. As we're going forward up here, we're going to get back into that blue. If you remember, we kind of cool it with the blue for those clouds that are moving up into this part of the sky. We're still going to have those shadows and then the highlights on the clouds, but they do need to change whether the color is biasing cool. That's like more towards the blue end of the color wheel, right? Blue and purple and green. Or whether they're biasing warm into the yellows, reds, and oranges. I have a whole video on a split primary color wheel where we get really into what bias is. And remember, you can even come back and pop in little bits of blue sky where necessary, but you want to get that in. And for some of that, I'm going to use a round brush. This is a number 6, a round. It is a hog bristle brush. I'll tell you the brand, and they have them still on sale some places. The company isn't making them anymore. But wait, it's not important, the name of the brand or the brand. That's not the important thing. The important thing is that it's a hog round. And a lot of companies make a hog round. A lot. So, and even in this company, they make several lines of hog rounds. They have the Grand Prix and the Silverstone. So you're okay.
Soon we're gonna what I'm gonna work on. My
I'm gonna get a little white on here and a little phthalo blue, kind of specific. Your commitment? My
commitment to the Sherpettes this year is to find a way to sell you all the product that you want to buy. That's my commitment to you. I will work personally hard to do that.
Yeah.
It's a lot harder than you think, man. Like, but you know, joking aside, we're going to work this hard this year to try to find this stuff and make it available to you in the stores. And you know, it's a piece at a time.
A piece at a time. What I'm doing here is finding little pops of light and creating some dimensionality in the sky. See how we're going? Especially here in the center. Today, we're going to play. I want you to think of this painting as a playground. Let's play. Let's not stress about being perfect. Let's not compare ourselves to another artist in our family or that we knew that we grew up with, or maybe an artist that's famous. Let's just be in this painting, this moment, trying to make nice little pops of turquoise light kind of coming through the center. Isn't that neat how that comes back? So we can put these values back. If you're like, oh, we need some here, look what you can do. You can put it back. And other reason I'm changing brushes, I want you never to get into the mind that the brush is the magic. You are the magic.
It's true.
You know, there are people in the world that would do this painting with a stick. And I'm not even exaggerating that reality. The magic of this painting is you.
So
I'm going to keep going through and adding little bits, pops of light that could be here in the sky.
like I've been really lucky to watch a lot of artists grow.
It's true, you have.
And I would say the biggest thing that gets an artist to go from nothing to something is just the doing.
Nothing gets you painting like painting. It's why would I do acrylic April?
That's it.
I ask myself this every year. Why do I do this program, right? Because guys, I do 3-4 paintings a day, right? And that part at this point it's like breathing for me. Like there was a time early in my space where doing a daily painting or a couple daily paintings was really like, whoa. At this point, I paint all day, and the only thing that stops me is my shoulder goes out. I got to this place because I painted every day, several times a day. Nothing helps you grow as an artist like painting. That's why I do a daily painting program every April, is to get you guys into that space.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense, John?
Yep. I'm actually looking forward to doing a 30-day challenge.
John has a 30-day editing challenge.
Actually, no, that was not the one I was going to do.
Which
but
one
I do that. You know,
oh,
I
you're
hadn't
doing
even
the
thought about
drumming
that.
challenge, aren't you?
I'm going to try.
Oh,
but
a
I hadn't even thought
30-day
about
drumming
that.
challenge.
I should, you know, it's not that it's a 30-day editing challenge. It's a 45-day editing challenge in a 30-day period.
This will be our 3rd year. And when you hear me saying I'm challenged by Acrylic April, not by the physical journey of it, just doing the painting, sometimes the logistics of it, planning it, making sure that all the resources are going to be there for you, making sure your experience has all of the safety nets that I can provide.
But right now, you're just making that sky peek through the clouds.
I was thinking about this today, like if I was to do a painting challenge, what would be a challenge to me? I think at this point it would be like trying to do like 100 paintings in a day or something crazy.
Well, you know what? This fall,
maybe I'll do one of those.
We'll talk about that. Like, actually, you know what? During New Year's this year, we'll do something crazy shenanigans-ish.
Crazy shenanigans. And it's not even the paintings that I'm worried about. Can I do like a bunch of paintings in a day? Yeah. But it's the staying awake that I'm concerned by. All right. Am I being fussy here? I am.
Tell me about the fussiness.
What I'm doing is I'm taking this light blue and I'm piecing back through here lots of little bits of blue light. All right. Mm-hmm. This little stage, this sets up a lot. This is going to set up a lot. I can come back through a little purple and a little bit of my blue and some white, you know, because these are the dark blue clouds that are kind of here.
Observationally, skies shouldn't be very scary because you can always dry them and do another layer, right?
You can always dry them and do another layer. Even, you know, I love showing a complicated, kind of involved sky like this for sure. Because I think if you guys can see how the layers build up, you would be like, oh. You know, if you don't know that you've got to get this dark layer in to get these highlights in, well, this could be really stressful and upsetting. Notice I'm just on the toe of this brush. What am I doing? I'm pushing in little shapes, right? And these little shapes are going to have highlights, and then the blue is going to be peeking through. This is a sky that I used to do a lot in my own painting. And then, you know, now with you guys introducing it more and more to your process, I'm adding what I did there. I grabbed Quinacridone and went into my Dioxazine Purple because as I come through here, what am I going to come through? I'm going to get, you know, much more to the red, to the warm. I love pulling this in here. And then when we put these highlights on these little clouds, It's going to be so what? And I'm going to be like, ah, no, on the toe of the brush. So brushes, and I have a cloud video. I think this Thursday I've got a video about how I paint my clouds and how that's done. And I'm going to show you the cloud brushes that I made with silver brush and how I feel about them now. I'm going to show you the domes. I'm going to show you every one of my favorite brushes for painting clouds. I'm going to show you my thinking and processes and give you some stuff. So these are some extra techniques and tips. And that's going to be like its own little mini book kind of going into other stuff that we do. So you guys have those extra resources.
Oh.
So if clouds have been kind of, a hard challenge for you, you might really enjoy the video this Thursday. This is kind of a lot of that too, because I'm doing the clouds. All right, let's call that a step.
All right.
Wait, yeah, we'll call it a step and I'll work another one because this was a lot to take in. It's not that I couldn't break in the piecing of the very light down here, but it's a lot for you guys to take in. So
Piecing?
let's get this photographed and then come back because I want you guys to have the sky that you want in your heart, the one you've been trying to paint. There are certain things that get us into painting there. There are landscapes or scenes or subjects or pets, a vacation, a hobby that we love, and we want to paint it and put it on our wall because we have such passion for it. And I always want to help you guys find those moments in your own studio. I can't wait to see this painting in group. All right. Now, coming here towards the center, I'm going to miss this a little bit. It's on a wet palette, but sometimes I still mist if we've been running the fireplace because the house can get quite dry. I don't mind if there's a little yellow in the white. And come here and make sure. And notice that I'm on the toe of this brush. And I'm making these little detailed moments. Magic moment. So fun and so new. So yeah. You're trying to grow your art. Come paint with me every day. Even if you're not completing a painting every day this acrylic April, just painting every day and being in that space, it's like exercise, but less miserable.
It's like,
I'm going to eventually feel good about exercise, but just not today.
You have to do anything like a whole bunch of times to get your brain and body aligned into it.
I think you do.
Whether it's like painting where you're like, you got to get your hand to do what your brain thinks, your eyes think, they're going to work together and make that image come together.
What I'm doing here, and hopefully we're capturing it with the camera, is I'm dancing the brush across the canvas. It's dancing. You want to dance? I want to dance with somebody. All right, I'm fine. It's okay. I'm okay. It's fine. We're going to take a little bit of our quinacridone and get some of our cad yellow into it and our white. And let's start to paint some of these little pinks. See the little pinks?
I see.
Like Pinky Tuscadero coming here. You just relax into it, guys. Just breathe deep. Dance your brush. Take a pause. Look, you can rewind the video. You can pause. You can play again. Now, as we come through here, right, I can even get a little, we're going to come where we have the purple clouds. I want more pink on it. And we're going to tap a little bit of, can you see that little bit?
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of pink highlight. That's the sun hitting the bottom of the cloud. That's how you get that. Your sun starts to hit the the bottom of the cloud. More in the pink sometimes. You'll see me get color often. I'm just changing that out. Why am I doing that? Because it's true and it works and you need it. On the toe of the brush, more magenta as we come further out. And maybe picking some there. We're not afraid. Don't be afraid. Just paint this wonderful sky. I feel like when I'm painting skies like this, that I'm painting, I talk a lot about the movie What Dreams May Come.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that's what it would be like, you know, that I would be living in my paintings. And just in case, I sometimes paint paintings that just, when I get to the other side, if there's another side, whatever you believe is okay. I'm not here to tell anyone what to believe. I'm just saying what I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Is I want to get there and I want to see this sunset. I want to see this field. And then maybe these worlds that I paint, maybe they're there for other people. I don't know. But maybe there's a place where this sky is just flowing out. This is going to get 1 million Instagram likes. I think we all want to be here. Look at that go. Isn't that sky just... And here too, little pink. You can even get your Naples Yellow into it. We're going to come over to this side. Just see it. Dance the brush. Let Whitney play in your head. She's here for you. She's going to play in your head. She wants to dance with somebody. And right now, tonight, it's your brush in your house. Look at that go. You didn't even know these clouds were in your heart, did you? There's that weird beginning where you have just 2 stripes of acrylic paint, and there's always somebody that comes by and is like, it looks nothing like the photo.
Mm.
And then they come back and they're like, it's better than the photo. Yeah. We get there. Because we can do things even nature can't do sometimes. Sometimes we can do things even nature dare not do. Let's rinse out. How's your sky going? How is it? How are you? How are they?
Very good. Everyone's enjoying this. I'm enjoying it.
So wonderful.
You just talk about your pink cloud layer there.
Pink clouds. So we're back into the pink. This pink dances between the Naples Yellow and the Cad Yellow. I'm going to miss the red. The red is really here for some stuff that's happening perhaps in the flowers and stuff. We didn't really need that much. But sometimes I put things out so you can see them. Warming the Quinacridone Magenta with a little Cad Yellow, and then also balancing it out with the cool yellow, which is the Naples Yellow. These give you amazing corals. And you want these. You're dancing little tops out.
What'd you say? You're whispering.
I really like it.
I like it too.
I like it so much. Sometimes I whisper because I want them to be calm. Are you calm? You okay right now? You tapping your little brush through your canvas. Don't turn me up because I might yell. Sometimes I get excited. You know, and these little moments, they might come into that. So you can see we we think about this here too. A little more quinacridone in some of it. Feel like you can, you know, dance in your sky, play in your sky. There you go. Now when you have that in there, it's pretty wonderful. It's pretty terrific. Let's put out a little more white. Right. We are going to add some little white highlights to all of that as well. Maybe a little pink, a little yellow, but it's going to be mostly pretty light. See how light? Tip it. Like, beep. Beep. Come in here. Dance along these clouds. Now we're adding the highlights. Did the pink, and we're going to add the highlights. You know, the other thing that I think happens when as we come more towards the sun, the clouds, you know, we're going to kind of lighten those too. There we go. We're trying to create that sense of light happening.
Mm-hmm.
Dance. And you will dance. You will dance. The clouds need it. Go on the tip of your brush, dance around. Rinse out if you need to. Can you see the clouds starting to light up? This is the fire in your sky.
This is so cool. The way those clouds are just, they get backlit with color.
You need a little color. And that's the thing when you look at the sky next time, when you're stuck at a light, I mean, always focus on your driving, safety. But when you're stuck at a train or a light and you know you're not going to go anywhere, take a second and look up. These here might have a little more yellow pop to them. Notice I got a little more yellow into them. So when it's closer to that sun, they might have a little more yellow as they go forward. And those little moments of yellow are super important. Little pink, little yellow, come here and we're going to light some fire up here on our little brush. You can do anything in your painting. It can happen for you. Even if sometimes today is not the day. I'm going to go across to the other side, John.
Okay.
Even if today is not that day. Maybe like some of these techniques are new and they feel awkward and you're not really sure how to get there. I want you to look a few posts ago on my Facebook page for the Art Sherpa. I posted people who started with me. I was maybe their first painting and they're working professionally as artists now and they shared their first painting. And I tell people this all the time. You cannot judge your art journey by the first painting. You can't judge the painting by the first brushstroke. It is a totality of strokes. It is a totality of steps in a journey. It is about all the places that you go. And so try to be forgiving of yourself for not being utterly perfect the first time you try something. Sometimes you guys just expect yourselves to be utterly perfect and you've never even tried it before. You know, everybody was a beginner once. Everybody. And you have to leave room for yourself to be a beginner. Don't be kinder to the world than you are yourself. I mean, do be kind to the world, but, you know, don't be kind to the world and then brutalize you coming through. lighter in that center, more yellow around this part. This is going to make a nice painting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so excited about the flowers too. Maybe a little more pink up here in the sky. Still light, right? Just a little more pink. Look at those little pink clouds. Little pink clouds for you and me. You can do this. You can do this. And you know, you can do this in acrylic when you can't even do it in oil. So really enjoy the medium here. The way that it dries and allows you to layer lets you do some really amazing things. Oh, so loving that. It's a little pinker up here, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And that's lovely. We don't want to take out all of our dark values. We just want to highlight them. Just play. Don't be afraid. Just play. Tap your little brush along the clouds. You know, sometimes you might get a lot more white, maybe a little yellow into it. Highlight a little. Just bring light to the sky. There's light here. And life and joy. A little bit of yellow and white. We're just bringing a little life into it. More amazing than look at this. This is just delightful. A little bit of yellow and the Quin Magenta and white here. And I'm going to bring this through too. And I'm just going to soften it up. Look at that go. We're going to take a step soon, John. Because I'm getting happy.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what you got to do. You just want to be happy with it. You're asking yourself, am I happy with it? And if you're happy with it, then you're there. If you're not happy with it, you might need to spend a minute more. And that's okay. Oh, wonderful. All right, let's call this a step. And say that we have painted a really lovely sky tonight,
that really
haven't
is a lovely
we?
step.
I like it. I like it. You guys get the concept. You guys get the idea, right? I might need my tea heated. But also, I need to breathe deep. Pay attention to my back and neck, right? You guys, I use a turntable so I can move the canvas if I need to, so I'm not leaning over too much. Another choice for you would be to do a table easel. that keeps the canvas at a comfortable thing. I know a lot of people like to paint in their laps. The only thing I would say about that is you tend to hunch over your painting, and that can be bad and hard on your back and shoulders. Let's put in some distant something. What? Did it not photograph? Oh. I will start my heels, and then you can heat my tea. Okay. So this is these misty, far away little areas, and I think these are a lot of fun to paint. I think we should have as much joy in painting the far away hills and trees as we are having painting our sky. And then we get to do some like wonderful flowers, and we've got this great, wonderful tree back here. Everything's wonderful in this painting. What is today? Today is wonderful. We've got this wonderful tree we're going to put right here, and I think it's going to be a nice lesson in tree. We're going to talk about how we paint trees, even though it's a silhouette tree. It's a really beautiful silhouette tree, and we can kind of slow down, and it has almost a cloud-like construct, the way the leaves are clumping together, and then areas of it are branches, and it lets light go through. And I think that's going to be a ton of fun to play with. Here, we're going to be putting it kind of really through here. I have to decide if we want to glow this area, but I think I feel like it's kind of glowy. I think I leaned into the glow really, 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 really hard. You know? I feel like what do you have, Candy? I can't crunch in their ear. I'm a child. How are you? If you're a torrid girl like me, they're not have anything to do with me. They've never talked to me. I'm just saying that they, and I don't mind telling you now because I got mine. They have Little Mermaid in.
They have cool stuff.
And they got another collection of the Betsy Johnson in, and there's some really spectacular shoes and stuff. So if you're plus size and you like torrid and cute clothes, that's happening. I'm just telling you. See, it's a bonus for coming by and
cute stuff.
Learning things from me. I'm going to take my my Phthalo Blue and my Dox Purple. And you'll see this kind of gives me a grayed out purple. Not a neat sort of effect. We're going to come here, a little more white into it, because these are pretty light. And I'm going to use this brush. And this far away little line that we have of distant, perhaps trees or whatnot. You know, a little far away to really know. I hear you, Twix. Like a nice uneven little edge. And back and forth. I'm still on this little hog brush. Lots of companies make hog. Guys, lots of companies make hog. I want it just a little bit lighter, maybe. Along here. A little bit lighter. But distant. And as we come over towards the left, it's going to be a little bit lighter. See how we're doing? And this one, maybe there's a bit of a, and it comes up. And you want the edge to be uneven because that speaks to trees.
Mm-hmm.
These go behind, this one's going to come behind this one. I'll pull this in here. Then I'm going to get a nice bit of white. Push a soft, diffused edge. I'm not using medium. I'm not using zinc. I'm using value and technique. Sip the tea.
You okay there?
Mm-hmm. It's not like what happened last night. I had a weird spasm in my sinuses, and I just had a really hard time. I think John thought I was going to just keel over.
You made it.
I made it. I scared him, but I made it. Every once in a while, I guess I make it my mission to scare John just a titch. So this is a very light and a cloud-like layer. You can see we're coming along there and making it kind of cloud-like, aren't we? Misty. We're going to be doing some watercolors on Watercolor Wednesday. They're just using really neutral colors like black, whites, grays, browns.
Mm-hmm.
And doing some of this kind of technique on watercolor and how you do it.
Huh.
So this one comes over next. It does get darker as it crosses in front. A bit.
A bit.
A bit. So we get our blue and our purple together and we come here and say, yeah, you here. Tree line, tree line, tree line. Tree line. It's fun, the tree line. Are you guys doing okay? John's got the chat today so that I can kind of really be here. I come here and make sure this sort of comes to the base, but I know I'm going to be putting lots of layers here.
Folks are really enjoying these.
I love these. I like doing more complicated lessons. I'm on the toe of the brush.
Lots of emoji club members out there in chat with us
I
today.
think we're 6 away. If 6 of you would like to join Emoji Club, we're 6 away from getting a new emoji.
Ooh, did you hear that? Shameless self-promotion so that we can unlock new things
Listen,
in YouTube.
This is Emoji Club. This is all you get. Emojis.
Just right. It's like, I think it's...
But I do make them for you, and I do sometimes give you guys sneak peeks of designs I'm working on for the show. You guys have seen some finished versions of Acrylic April. If you want the previews of Acrylic April, you have to be a patron over on our website, and that's and you get to name those.
I'm with Brenda. I don't know how to spell calla lily, but I know it has more callas and lily. It's just too many L's and A's in that.
Yeah, seriously. Did I spell calla lily wrong?
I don't know.
Probably did. There was this really funny moment online where I had not put the comma or colon or something in the right place, and it was like I was saying, no draw option will be free. It was just really weird, and somebody was like, I'm sure this isn't what she means, but I think I need more punctuation. And everybody threw up some punctuation. Yeah. Everybody threw up punctuation. And then this one lovely lady was like, you learn to speak Sherpa-ese. Watch for punctuation and capitalization.
Emotional capitalization.
Emotional capitalization, which is true. So on my Tuesday painting, guys, I hope you don't mind me not like just rushing through as hard as I can, because I really enjoy this time for me, even on the painting.
Ooh, now what are you doing there? That little, you got some blendiness happening there.
So the paint is wet that I'm working into, and I'm grabbing white and I'm letting it be on the tip of my brush, and that kind of creates these little misty highlights, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. It's starting to say, hey, some of these little moments over here are misty. And I'm like, yeah. And like this back here, it's a little shoo, 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 make the sound effects. It's very helpful. Super professional noises made by me. So I really love it when an artist is like, you're not professional. I'm like, yeah, but I pay all my bills with art. Mm-hmm. I might be a professional. You can't judge my sound effects. You don't know me.
You pay your bills.
I pay my bills. All right. So we have kind of that nice little...
Man, that sky has just keeps getting...
It just starts to show up, right?
Yeah.
All right. We're going to get some weird stuff going. We're going to take a little purple and our phthalo green. A strange combo, to be sure. We're going to get a little bit of... let's see how dark it is on the... Okay, good. Because the little trees, as they come forward, they get almost a little green. But by putting the purple in it, they still stay part of this background space. The trick is we want to make sure that we leave room for the mist. Leave room for the mist. You gotta leave room for the mist. Good to practice all your misting paintings. This paintings and this kind of atmosphere, it's a lot of fun, right?
Mm-hmm.
Get into my white and then kind of blend that in here. We're just creating rows of stuff. What happened? I don't know. Stuff. They got fog. It's difficult to travel in the canyon right now.
Mm-hmm.
Problematic for the drivers, wonderful for the artists. Oh, we do have, are they up on the website yet, the new retreat dates?
Mm-hmm.
We have new retreat dates and locations. If you're wanting to come paint with me in person and see me be goofy right in front of your very eyes and eat food with me and see me way, way too much, those are on the website now. And we have come up with some really cool plans for our new COVID reality. So you should go check that out if that's something you would want to do.
There's some new things.
Since we're coming close to, like, I don't know, vaccines and...
It's true. We have some
stuff.
optimism on the horizon.
We're feeling optimistic again. You never know. That was a thing that you maybe would want. I'm just tapping my little brush up and down, making these little distant. Oh, what are you doing? I don't know. I'm just being a tree.
That's like, just, man, that background is so cool.
It has moments. I feel it has moments. Bring in some white here. You know, you gotta be like, oh, it got a little misty there. Play with it, you know. You can definitely. What you're looking for is you'll want highlights in the white. And then you want areas that are a little deeper. Mist just kind of devalues and desaturates stuff. And again, like, I'm not saying my mom's trick of just painting it and then zinking it is not awesome sauce. It is. Somebody was like, why did you just do that? I'm like, we can.
Mm-hmm.
That's also okay. But I like to do this. And I'll tell you the number one reason why I like to do this is it's relaxing. Coming on the toe of my little brush here and just painting a little bit, it's super relaxing. Creating little banks of mist in this background is super relaxing. That's all that's happening. You know, when I look at it, I'm like, oh, that's calming. Because it is a little calming. Little green and purple. Come a couple places and be like, oh, there's some. You know what we're doing?
Mm-hmm.
Great little dark values, little pops. Just gives us a little moment. You know, maybe we get a little bit of the green and I'm gonna put out a little bit of burnt sienna. A little bit of burnt sienna. And get it into my green here. And a little of my cad yellow. And this is gonna make kind of a very grayed green, right? It needs to be grayed enough to be pushed back. We don't want it to be too much of anything. And you're starting to think about some distant anything. Grab a little white into it.
Mm-hmm.
pushing that back along this edge.
Man, the little grasses. The distant grass.
Something far away, right? Something kind of far away, something not too close. We know it's there, but it's just, it's a little misty in the back and it's not sharp or in focus. And we're going to call this, I'm going to kind of take this back and forth a bit to soften this little edge. You're going to want to look for any little pops of mist that you might want, right? So make sure you've got it tinted with a little bit of your purple blue. If you're wanting to talk about little areas of mist, maybe a little more concentrated, you can do that. Kind of like how we did the clouds. We can do that here. I might concentrate more like in the center. So there we go. Call that a step.
All right.
The best step.
The best step.
The best step. I sip my tea. The best step. It's so pretty, right? So pretty. So pretty.
All right. Back to the clouds.
All right. Back to the clouds.
You know what? I don't know what your teachers were telling you in high school, but you got to keep your head in the clouds if you're going to be able to do this kind of work with any seriousness.
That's super true.
So
let's get our bird sienna over into our phthalo green and a little cad yellow. We're going to make some deep, distant greens, but they're going to have, you know, a little personality to them. And we're going to kind of, still on this brush, I guess this is the brush today, a round, scruffy brush. Look, Simply Simmons carries a brush like this, guys. It's like $3. Do not stress. I mean, it's not as good, right? And here's why. Because the paint can crack and the ferrule can fall off. You may have to wash all the hog bristles the first time you use it. But once you go through all that, it's fine. It's totally fine. So, you know, yes, tools make a difference, but it's like when you get that new like kitchen tool, you don't get into the KitchenAid like day one, right? Mm-hmm. You start with like a Hamilton Beach and then figure out if you break the thing. And then you might get into something a little more intense. I'm going to continue to bring yellows over here. There's some really fun kind of like bright greens in this background that are kind of compelling, but we're going to do something. One of my very favorite artists does not work in paint. One of my very favorite artists works in thread. And there's a signature thing that she's want to do in her pieces, and I'm tempted to do it often in mine. So we will sometimes deviate from a reference photo for the purposes of that. I'm bringing a little bit of burnt sienna back here on the toe of the brush. Yeah, you never want to mess with me like when I'm close to acrylic April because I've been painting so much. I'm like, I can paint all the things and there's no end to it.
Don't mess with me. I'm a painting
painting machine. You don't even want to know. You don't even. But here's the thing, guys. Creativity, the more you use, the more you have. Mm-hmm. For sure. The more you use, the more you have. I'm going to grab a little bit of that. And I'm going to get some of my white into it. Did you see that?
So I was just making sure there's clear. So we don't have the current retreat stuff available on the website.
Oh, no.
No,
you let me say it.
Because I was
wrong.
I was wrong.
Okay.
Because we just got what it is that you have all of the new stuff up for approval.
Oh.
And so as soon as you approve
I thought somebody had bought a ticket, so I was like.
Well, we have folks who are waiting to buy tickets.
Okay.
So if you're one of those folks who are interested,
email us.
support at TheArtSherpa.com. We have them coming up in the next few days.
Sorry,
Also,
guys.
I believe if you call 1-833-PAINT-88, it's 833-PAINT-88. I don't remember the exact number, but it's 833-PAINT-88. That'll get you through to our sales and support line, and they'll be able to get you more information on that. Now, if everyone calls at once, of course, there's only one person who answers those calls, so you'll have to
Yeah.
But
Hey, we have a call line.
It's like we got one.
I'm adding little bits of yellow and white to it, and I'm tapping my little brush line because what I'm wanting to do is like get these little background areas, which you can see are quite awesome. Now through here, I'm going to get a little of my yellow back into this and brown and green.
It's like it's developing from the sky forward.
From the sky.
Like
Well, it is
just
going to do this. As we come forward into this space, guys,
It's transforming.
we're going to make sure that this is a little brighter. Through here, there's always going to be almost like it's water, guys. Get a little more green going. You can see I'm getting a little more green going. And then there's, I feel like a little bit of kind of yellow brown over here. A strip of that. Who's watching Debris with me? I just started last night. John is, already making fun of it, but I'm hopeful because you never know when a show's going to be like Fringe, or it's going to be just great and you're fully sucked in. Sometimes, you just got to wait and see. And I'm really excited about the new stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because Wanda's going to be coming to an end in a minute, and I'm about to lose American Gods. So I've got Discovery of Witches going. It's not as good as the books. Well, okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to tap it right on top here. If you've never been to my channel before, we do talk TV.
You talk TV. I talk TV. Talk TV.
I don't know why you talk TV. You don't even watch TV. You fall asleep. I'm just taking a little yellow and white, and I'm kind of tapping some background. These are sort of implied little flowers in the background. If you guys can catch this, it's just a little yellow and white. Are you giving me a face? Why are you giving me a...
Ba weep, gra na weep, ninny ba.
It doesn't work on me. Oh,
I'm gonna
coming
pull
to
some other ones out. Ba ram you.
Ram you. The All Creatures Great and Small, the reboot has been really lovely. I pulled my son into that, and he's been watching. And then we went back to watch the original, and apparently the original was about doing really accurate veterinary techniques, which means if an animal has a bowel instruction, they go right up in there. And my son was like, wow!
Oh, that's true. It's like, where does arm go? Well, all the way in.
In the new one, they imply it. In the old one, they showed it with a lot of graphic reality.
And those actors were method?
Yeah, they were so method.
It was a lot.
We're just getting, it's a little bit of this green, yellow, and some white over here. I'm just saying, it was a whole thing. We're just getting these distant. Some of these are real distant, right?
Yeah.
So we just want some of the distant information. We don't have to be totally perfect. It's just, it's where we're at right now. Coming forward as we go. Coming forward as we go. And you can see that little tapping. It's a lot like the sky. It just gives that impression, doesn't it?
It does.
Who doesn't love this painting? Well, you can leave a down thumb. Because YouTube lets you do that.
Up thumb. You can leave those two up thumbs.
And
Smash
listen,
the like,
if you
subscribe.
like free art lessons and chatting and talking about TV and nice people who are nice in live chat, hit the subscribe button, guys. Subscribe, because that's how YouTube tells you that something is going on. That's really nice. That's looking pretty good. Now, I feel like, You know, pretty soon here we're going to call this a step, and the reason is that we want to do the trees its own step, I think.
Mm.
It's a good idea to pop little bits of brown and colors here and there that you can see. And that's because nature tends to give you dimensionality in everything she does. She's not boring, the nature. No, she's not. She's an interesting creature. All right, let's photograph this, and then we will dry it and start tree.
Okay.
Tree.
You think?
Tree.
Are we at the tree place?
Tree. I got a lot more dramatic with my sunset. I don't know what to tell you. Sometimes I'm a dramatic girl when I paint. I get dramatic in my paintings. Dramatic with my paintings. And it is herbal tea, if you're wondering. All right, let's put out a little black paint, shall we? I'm gonna put out some Mars Black.
All right.
I think we may be through everything but ultramarine blue so far. And you're going to want a detail brush or small round brush, and I'm going to just grab this small detail. This is a #1 Art Sherpa brush. You don't have to have my brush. You can have any detail round that gives you can do monogram liner, you can do anything that gives you control. What you see me doing here is bringing in some water to thin the paint. And I'm going to start the trunk of my tree, say right about here. So if you imagine that the canvas is divided in half, a few inches over from that, not totally to, like almost dead center between the halfway point and the edge.
Uh-huh.
Bring little strokes up. And we're going to make I don't know that we will be exactly this tree, but we're going to be pretty close to this tree. Bring a little branch over. When you're painting trees, one of the things that as a new painter you might be inclined to do that I've seen a lot is that new painters will shorten the branches. They will short themselves branches, and the branches will end up short and not long enough to support the tree and the structure that's on it. So you've got to make sure your branches kind of are going to come up above your tree line. Many of these will vanish into the painting of the leaves. And I may end up getting a little dramatic with my tree. That's been known to happen. Don't try to separate. The thing to avoid is a pitchfork, which is really kind of the beginning of a dandelion. You're going to want to break up your branches. See how that is?
Oh, let me go back over that. I was not good focus there. Let's try that. There we go.
You know, let's do that again.
You want to one more time.
So if you take a little branch, don't make a straight fellow. Let him have friends.
There we go. I had a little better. I was
right. Because what a lot of people want to do is they want to go like that, and it's natural, right? What you're going to want to try to resist. Resist the urge.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to come and take your brushes away.
No, they should not do that.
They should not. And if they try, you come get me, and I will make them sorry that they did. I'm like the art mom. You can do a lot. You come from my students. It's like, oh no, she can get mad.
Yes, you can.
I can. You know, when somebody kind of comes for me, it's not that big of a deal because I've been painting for a while and I really know who I am as an artist. So they can't talk me out of my creativity. Their opinion of whatever I'm doing isn't significantly important to me. When I want the branches to get lighter, I use less pressure. When I want them to get thicker, I apply pressure. You'll see me getting drops of water and doing the circle and the roll. This keeps the paint from getting up into the ferrule of my brush and keeps it where I can load it on the toe and come paint a tree. There is a lot to do here, so just give yourself a minute. Because on top of, you know, all the branches that will be here, you've got to do almost like a cloud bank on this tree. I almost did the fork there, but I avoided it narrowly.
Almost did.
Sometimes you almost do it and then you avoid it narrowly. The tree has kind of a round crown shape. On trees like this, they have a lot going on. Like Stacy's mom. Sometimes I'll say things and it just, no, what it is that I will say something and it will just remind me of something.
It just resonates in there and it's like,
yeah, it's in my echo chamber of me.
Bounces out of your head.
It really does. I know I've got this wonderful little fan. Now, at this stage, I'm going to rinse this brush very thoroughly. You don't want any paint in that brush.
Ooh.
And I can use this brush pretty well or more of the hog brush. I think I'll hog at first because I've just got this out and it's just nice. I'm going to take a little of my black paint. I'm not letting my brush be too tidy at the toe. Right. I'm going to just very calmly stipple out. And actually, I'm going to do a really cool thing here. Watch this. This is going to be real fun. We're going to get into our red here. Smidge of yellow. Put a lot into our red. And the reason is the trees almost have a glow around them when they're backlit by sunlight.
It really does.
I can come back and easily get more black on there, but it can be nice to have that little bit of glowing leaf if you're trying to make the tree seem like it's real. Try to look at it like it's a cloud, and so you'll want some of it to be more solid, and then sometimes it will be a little more see-through. More red. And you'll see me going like, nope, it needs more red.
It's super.
It's not a fall tree. That's not at all what we're doing. We are giving a bit of a glow to some of the leaves that are backlit in the sky. Worth doing. Gives us a lot to work from. This works if the tree is not solid, and you do want to pay attention to the way that the leaves are clumped. That's why this type of brush, or the stippler brush, or even a deer stippler, is a useful brush for this type of work. You know, and you've got a minute to do the tree. keep in mind, and we all kind of love the giving tree, right? Which means, what that basically means is there's a tree in our heart from our childhood. A tree we loved to climb. A tree that we sat under and daydreamed dreams about the world we would be in the future and who we would be, kind of person we would be, jobs we would have, the life we would live.
Tree dreams.
Tree dream. Looking up through the leaves. And the leaves, they blow and they shimmer as light hits them from different sides. And it is a magic time.
It really is.
I'm not painting a solid mass at all. Sorry. Is the noise bad?
No.
Okay. I'm not painting a solid mass. I really do look at this and go, you know, this is a bit more like a cloud.
Oh, I can see the little the little layers of the tree leaves are coming together.
We can do things in art. We can honor that tree from our childhood.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that's important to remember about that tree from childhood, though, is that it doesn't need you to be perfect and remember it perfectly. You know, you just do have a tree in your head, in your heart, and as long as you know that, and then it may be impacting how you relate to trees as you're painting, that's all you got to know. You're like, oh, I'm probably just over putting pressure on myself about this tree. Maybe I'm thinking about that tree from my childhood that I loved so much.
Mm-hmm.
It was so, so important to me.
Nancy wanted to know if zinc white's the best for doing mist.
Zinc white is just fantastic. There's just no way to say it's not. And you can use it. You can also take acrylic glazing liquid gloss and come back through and mist again in a similar way. Titanium white's heavily pigmented. So to mist in this way, you've got to really, really paint it very consciously. But if say you paint an area and you're like, oh, I want it to be mistier than that, and you come back with some zinc white, it's going to look amazing. I'm just trying to limit the colors that new students have to get into this year, so more people can come paint and play with us.
That makes sense.
I have lessons with zinc, and I'm not sorry for them. You can see how the backlit really did a lot. You want to backlight your trees.
Yeah. It makes them glowy.
It does. It gives them a little bit of a glow. You can see that this tree has a bit of a cloud form to it. It's actually quite lovely.
Mm-hmm.
You can come back with your detail brush and define little branches, little elements in the tree as well.
That looks so good.
Just a fun little tree. It's so happy to have you here today. It's glad you're thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Glad to be remembered by you. You know, trees talk to each other across roots across the planet. Apparently they use the mycelial network.
Mm-hmm.
much like John teases Star Trek for.
Oh, it's the intergalactic mycelial network.
It's
that
got
has,
you.
yeah, it's like I totally get spores get on everything. It's like nature's glitter.
Sometimes I like to tap little individual leaves. You know, it's a little different than maybe my brush did, but it also helps pull little edges out, doesn't it? Little leaves that might have maybe gone unnoticed. Take the time. You've got it. You can do this. This tree can be a beautiful tree. Just because something's a silhouette doesn't mean we got to phone it in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Look at that. All right. We can call that a step.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty good step.
Pretty good step. Lovely tree, isn't it, out on the field?
Lovely tree.
Lovely little tree. Doing little tree things, nice backlight. It's a great tree. I'm looking forward to the next part. It's a good time to put out some white. Look to see what colors you may be low on. Look to see if you need any mist or anything on your palette to keep the palette wet. You know, just a great time to assess your well-being, how things are going. I might come back in here and take, you know, a little bit of my yellow and white. There's a tip of green on it, and I might make sure that we have a little bit of space around our little tree.
Let's see here.
I need to come back and I think I need to come back and retrunk it. There we go. That'll happen.
Yep.
Now, I think for the purposes of my convenience, right, because really this is just a lot of white with peaks of green in it, I'm going to take a little of my green, a little bit of my brown, smidge of my yellow, and make sure I've got a good basis to do the next part on.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm giving myself a very deep color. Through here, just because I want to deepen the green that I'm on. Through the center here, like it's water, I might lighten these greens a bit, and then on the outer edges, deepen the green a bit. I may also come through here and make sure that into my light green, I'm bringing deeper greens.
Mm-hmm.
You can use your brush stroke to imply the directionality of plants. You know, don't feel like you can't, because you can. No, just get it in there. Little plants. Little plants, little stuff happening. And as you can see, there's a bit of a sort of light area coming down through here. And I don't mind if little bits of yellow are through there. I just want nice depth to what I have. Bring it in. What I'm trying to do is make sure my shapes are kind of irregular. Right? That there's variance. Because what does nature give me? Nature gives me variance.
Did you switch brushes on us?
I am using a number 20 bright.
You snuck a
I
brush
was
on
sneaky.
Me.
I'm sorry. I did not mean to be sneaky though.
You brushed up on me.
I brushed up on you. I might get a little bit lighter. You can see I get a little more yellow into this. And I will kind of pay attention to the way I'm doing my brush strokes. Look at that.
Wow.
That gives us some nice thoughts. And that's what we want on this beautiful, beautiful day. Okay. I'm going to dry it, and then John, we're going to call this a step.
Are we?
Yeah, because we
That's a
really
good
need
step.
to break between this step and the next step, so
All right.
we'll just call it a whole step.
Yep, that seems good. You should thoroughly dry between those steps to make sure that it's easy to get the next. So the next layer is going to be a little brighter, and you don't want those to be muted. So you want this layer to be thoroughly dry so that you're not picking up any of the darker colors on your next layer. That seems pretty straightforward. So
Did you get a picture?
I'll get a picture.
And then we get to do flowers, which is like the whole best part, right? Yes. Whole best part. Flowers. Whole best part. Flowers. Is our favorite part. Flowers. Whole best part. I'm not excited about the flowers at all. Now, I am going to put out a smidge. Well, actually, no, I'm not, because I'm going to drop it on the ground. I'm going to throw my ultramarine blue on the ground. When I don't have ultramarine blue, I'll take a little bit of my Dioxazine Purple and my Phthalo Blue together. The reason this grays out is because there's a hidden primary in it. This is very biased red, and this is very biased green, which means there's a yellow hidden in there. So you have red, yellow, and blue, and whenever you have red, yellow, and blue in anything, what you have is a hidden primary, which is going to neutralize your color and keep it from being so saturated. I'm going to come here and get a little bit of that cooled, kind of grayed out color into my white. I'm going to go on the little toe of my brush here. And we're going to just kind of thoughtfully go through here, right? Now, even though there's very distinctive areas, and you want to pay attention to how the patterns are.
Yeah.
Whenever you're doing a very solid field of flowers, and you're not going to paint every individual flower, right? You're going to paint the color. Or that's what I'm going to do.
That's
Show
what
you
you're
how
gonna
I do. Because unless we have some that are super focused up front, right? All we would ever paint is just the shape of the flower anyways, or the mass color of it. So at this stage, we just want a white value. Towards these outer edges, we're going to exaggerate it being maybe not as bright because we're going to play with the light coming in. If it's further away, these little dots are smaller, right? Maybe a little out of focus. And then as it would come forward, it might be a little more open, allowing more green to show through. That's what we're going to do. I like working off white because when I'm working white values, it allows me to come back and pop different colors in.
I think I agree that your voice is very soothing.
My voice is soothing?
Yeah, Deborah was just saying that you could do well as a hypnotherapist.
Oh.
But I just like listening to you talk. Sometimes
Well,
I get.
I put him to sleep every night.
You know, It's really nice that I get
Since we've been married, my husband's been falling asleep on me, so you may have something there. True facts. True facts. And you can see it's nice that the green is peeking through. You know, you can always come and get a little, look at this, a little gray yellow into it. Isn't that crazy? But you can, and it'll bias a little green. So even among these little white areas, you can get a little green biases going and
oh yeah,
tell a little story. But it's not saturated because of what we're doing. And the reason we want to control the saturation of the color is when a color is very vibrant and saturated, it's going to pull it forward. If the contrast between the dark and the light is too great, it will make it focal. So we know we've got some amazing contrast here, which is why this is very focal. But if we were to do that into the field, we would be changing that a great deal. So I'm just tapping up and down. I'm just using the way this brush is. And that was a little bit of the green and the yellow and burnt sienna. And then we're mixing into our shaded color. And every once in a while I might rinse out and change again and then come back and change again and come back and change again, because that's how we do.
that's how you do it.
That's how the Tazier do. Yeah. On our toe. On our toes, toes, toes. And it's like the clouds, right? We're just looking to demonstrate the random patterns that nature gives us. Nature tells us stories. She gives us random patterns, and we've got to, let's respect her.
Yeah.
Like in a field, there'll be little areas maybe where the heads are all closer together, and then, you know, they'll clump in different ways, and we've got to paint how they are. Orient right there. Isn't that great?
You could almost, Christina was asking if you could splatter those flowers.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, in
Splatter
fact,
flowers.
there's I can never remember her name. Angela's got a painting that she did a tribute to her on where she does splattered flowers. And, it's so cool. Yeah, you can absolutely do splatters. We're going to just do this little building of the field of flowers. Telling this story.
Yeah.
Till it's all kind of, again, when it's in here, and I'm going to love bringing all the pinks and this kind of corridor of light. It's going to be so pretty. And then I'm going to hang it on my wall, and you're going to be like, that girl was crazy. That lesson took a minute. But you guys know now, don't you? How you do it. We're just on the toe of this brush. You have to have this brush. No, here's what I like about it. Look at its little twirly thing. All the brushes that I have that are like this, from big to small, all twirling exactly the same way. This brush I've had for years and years and years. This is Silverstone. So hog, 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 hog.
Hog.
The hog already has shed its mortal coil by the time that the bristles make it to the brush maker. They do some synthetics that are stiff and like hog if you are vegan, and that is okay. Nobody's going to judge. That's really weird that we would judge somebody for being compassionate for animals. That's a very strange thing to judge somebody for. Your compassion is too high. Have we noticed that? Like being cautious is suddenly bad, or being compassionate is suddenly bad.
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell you something. I've been alive a minute on the planet, right? I'm going to tell you a secret about people.
Yep.
Being conservative and fiscally minded and thinking about the future is not bad.
No.
Being compassionate and loving others and thinking about their well-being is not bad. Mm-mm. They're both good things to be. And the reason that people are made all those different ways is because that's what we need. That's how it's supposed to be.
It's really true.
We're supposed to have diversity, biodiversity. Right? If you don't have biodiversity, then species die out. Right? You'll lose something because you get too specialized, too specific. You know, and you might not be here later. I was talking to my daughter about making sure she wasn't in too deep of an echo chamber.
Mm-hmm.
You know? I give a lot of internet advice. But I'm just saying.
But your flowers are coming together quite nicely here. These layers of flowers.
Just bringing this forward. So we have our off-white. I didn't even use ultramarine this time. I did the ox purple, phthalo blue, and white. How's that?
That's pretty cool.
Ha! Ha! I dropped my tube of paint on the floor. Did it throw me? No. Did I get up and get it? Also no. But it didn't throw me.
Those layers of the flowers.
They're just, this is early layers too. We haven't even really gotten into all of it.
Haven't gotten deep into the flower layers
We're
yet?
not even deep into the flowers. We can't even smell the fragrance of the field yet. I'm sorry. I'm just kicking my feet and being super. This is a painting. Every once in a while, I'll get on my little photo reference site and I'll see something and I'm like, I want to paint that, and then I put it on the channel because everybody uses the same photo site now. So everybody followed me over. So I got to get it up like now.
Got to get it going.
Yeah, you're like, there's one like 5 months away. Yeah, I know, because I don't want anyone else to paint that one. Paint that one. So I called it. That's what, when I schedule it out, what am I doing? I'm calling it. It's a silent thing. I'm like, I called it.
I want to do this one.
And I can't tell you how often it happens. Like there'll be one I want to do and it ends up being painted. And the only reason I don't necessarily always throw mine right up at that moment is just because, I like to put people in the position of comparison.
Yeah.
Or the community at odds with each other. Kind of a thing. Sometimes if it's not a big deal, I will. Or like if we talk, I might. Now I'm going to add a little more white to this. Remember, I got my green yellow over here.
Yep.
That I'm doing, but I'm using this to kind of say, whoa, a little less saturated.
Some more flowers. Oh, that's almost. You're not adding any water there. You're just.
No, it's almost a dry brush.
Almost a dry brush.
You could probably also use my cloud brush really well for this technique, because you could just because it's a very scuffed little brush. I'll bring it, since this is a lighter value, I'll bring this back.
So very nice.
Hey, Twixie. She's looking for the bacon. Maybe she found it because it's on the table and she looks pretty happy.
Mm-hmm.
And I figured out she can get into Ziplocs. Just pull that through here. You know, that's a little bit of a straight line, so I'm gonna. And you can see it's just a little lighter.
Yeah.
Nice sweetie pie. All right, let's call that a step.
All right.
We did a lot of work there.
That was a lot of work.
Right? And so we're going to call that a step. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Ba, 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 ba.
It's so good.
What's so good?
It's painting.
Really? Thank you.
It's so close.
It actually is pretty close. In painting, this is about the part where you get to the top of the hill and you're about to go down. So, it's going to go fast and fun now. So as I come out, I'm going to get a little more of my white. It's going to be brighter than the white I've already put down, but it'll still be toned a bit. And I'll be kind of on my toe. We're going to come at the top and kind of get with some white. And you can always get a little yellow. It's about having a lighter value, but not having it so saturated that it just... There we go. You do want to make sure your patterns are random. Got a weird little squeaky over here.
Oh, that's the radiator.
That's okay. As long as it's not the equipment making that noise, everything's okay. So we're just making sure that we're capturing the value, right, in a really solid field of small-headed flowers.
Yeah.
That's my inclination, is not to try to paint every individual flower. You could. You can take a little brush and just go, doot, 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 but I like this way better. And there's sort of a similarity, there's sort of continuity in technique from here to here. That's rather enjoyable.
It's so very nice.
So very, very nice. There's also little bits of yellow in the field. I've decided how I want to kind of get that in there. Little daffodils or something. Other kinds of a yellow version.
Those are starting to really pop.
Yeah, I like it. This is one of my favorites. I'm really loving this. I'm really, 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 really loving it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, take the time. Pay attention to where your brush is on the canvas. Think about how any of your marks or lines are holding your eye. I mean, it makes a lot of noise, buddy.
Just when it's heating up.
It's like, oh, isn't that lovely on this side? We're going to do the same on the other side. That next layer or level or...
Mm-hmm. love that.
Just pulling this through. I'm actually really relaxed painting this tonight.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think this is one of those ones that just drops your blood pressure.
Mm-hmm. I can
It
see
just
that.
lets you find your space. Also, I think the ibuprofen kicked in. So
That doesn't hurt.
I was telling John the other day, I cannot do any of these time travel. Like, so I'm doing the Discovery of Witches, and much like Outlander, I find I can't do any time travel romances. Not that I'm against time travel, not at all. That's not the issue. The issue is I don't want to be anywhere in time that ibuprofen doesn't exist. Just not at all. Like, no. I want feminine products and ibuprofen, and I just can't go. Not as much of a big deal anymore, but there was like, I just want to know that I've got stuff, toilet paper. There are things that I'm really attached to. I could live without sliced bread. Heck, I could even make bread.
Yeah.
Right? That's fine. I don't even mind milling or weaving or any of that stuff, but there's just certain conveniences that I'm not willing to be with that. Modern plumbing, a dishwasher, and a washing machine. Like, first time I went back in time and somebody handed me clothes and said, there's a rock on a stream, I would be like, this is awesome. Not, said anyone ever. Excuse me, I have to go invent a piece of machinery.
Excuse me while I have an industrial revolution.
Right here. You free all these women so they can have jobs and not put up with any of this nonsense.
I know this is going to sound weird, but we're going to need a lot of clean sand.
I was explaining to Luna, like, that I was born right after women got, equal rights coming in and how close, things were different. And she was like, wow, you were really born at the right time. And I was like, I was watching Miss America and had no idea how much I had lucked into it.
Yeah.
Ooh, that was close. There we go. See, as we're going through, we're just catching the tops of these and we're making.
Really amazing.
I mean, maybe it has a little more personality, but I can't help that. I am who I am. This is art. My world is, well, as we said at the beginning of the video, it's very much a what dreams may come kind of world.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you just gotta be here. All right, let's call that a step, and then we'll come in and do like some center and some detailing and some little yellow bits, and it'll be fun.
Yeah?
Yeah. Good, step. Step. Oh, yeah, I got to do two, because I can't end on step 13, because I have weird things. So we'll do two more steps, because, no, we're doing two more, because I'm ending on 14, not 13. Not going to end on step 13. Not doing that. I grew up in the 80s. I can't do it. I'm sorry. My intellectual mind knows it's nonsense,
We could
but
just
it's
skip that number
happening.
if you wanted. We could just skip it.
Like buildings do. Like,
There's no 13.
There's no floor 13. Yeah.
That's how the Sherpa do.
That's how the Sherpa do. So I'm going to grab a little bit of my Naples Yellow and my white. I'm going to be making some brighter colors. I think I need to put out some more white because that white has skinned. So skinning is when the top of your acrylic paint dries, and it can make it kind of challenging to work with. So sometimes I'll put out more paint to get around that, especially when I'm teaching.
Yeah.
I could probably, at this stage, I could probably mist it and get it kind of back, but on these dry days, you gotta do what you can do, friend. I'm just putting this sort of, I've got to really keep it on the toe of the brush because I want these marks to be smallish because they're
just
far away.
Dancing on the toe.
Dancing on the dancing on the ceiling. Oh, oh, what a feeling. This is what it's like inside my mind. You know, and that's the thing to understand about anything that you're painting.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing should be above where your imagination needs to take you. You've got to listen to those things. You know, if I could always make sure you guys, you know, took away this idea that, a little more yellow here. The reference, the lesson, all of that's important. But what's really important is your imagination. And you've gotta do what you feel and see.
Yeah.
I'm a little more yellow here, and you can see I'm on the toe. I want it to feel like light is coming down the valley. Light is coming down the valley. And landing kind of in between here and you know, maybe a little pink. And just dance it around. You go until it's just. She found us. Oh, what has she got?
She's got a slipper.
That's my. I cannot find my slippers because she has moved. Don't look sad at me. You know you've moved them.
She's over there with pride. That little bunny slipper is mine.
My feet are cold all the time because she keeps taking my slippers
She
and
keeps
hiding them
slipping
from
off.
me.
She slips off with the slippers.
She slips off with the slippers. She works hard for the slippers. Line that in. There we go. Because we find our own way. You can go your own way. But you should. Don't rush yourself through. Trust that there's purpose to where you're going. I told you it would be like. So my one of my favorite artists on Etsy paints in thread, and one of the things that I've always loved that she does that's definitely inspired me to think about it is this idea of the way we can light things to create an elevated sense of space or connection or spirituality or just something above and beyond ourselves. Grandeur, scale, you know, however you want to word it. I don't want to put words in people's mouths or minds, but for me, it's like that sense of, you know, maybe something that's divine, you know. But that's what's right for me, and I'm not saying what's right for you.
Yeah.
But it's like I like to feel that in my paintings. And I think moments like this kind of bring us to that place. More white, just work it through. You just go until the painting is there. And you'll know it when it is.
Oh, yeah.
It will sing to you. It will say, here I am. You found me. I was here all along. Didn't you hear me call you? I was here all along. And I thought you would come and play. Lay down in my field. Lay down in my field.
Yeah.
Remember why. Why you're here. That you matter. That you are cared about. And there is purpose in me. Not to get all deep and weird.
Yeah. But it's not too deep or weird. I think it's pretty cool.
You can see me just trying to catch highlights and build form out there, right?
This could be a cotton swab one too.
Yeah, you could probably do this with a cotton swab. We probably didn't have to be here all day.
But it's fun. We're just kind of...
I think that there's a look when it's not, you know, in the cotton swabs where we are just kind of seeing it and working it out.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's important.
It's looking so sharp.
It is. Contrast does a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The other thing that I think is lovely is that this pulls you into the painting. And the way that we've lit the flowers also pulls that time of day in as well.
Mm-hmm.
Makes it very clear. And you just want to be in here and tell the story.
Yeah.
Tell the story of this day. Spend the time with it too. You know? Sometimes I let you see me work through in a deeper way.
Yeah.
So you guys know what to expect, you know, in scale and time. Like what does it take to get there? How many layers am I going to be into to get here?
This is pretty fantastic.
You know, where am I going to go? Take a little green and quite a lot of yellow.
It's all about the layers here, isn't it?
It's all about the layers.
Donna was asking if you could do that with acrylic pens.
Yes. Yeah.
There's really no stopping you here.
There really wouldn't be. I could probably get the Poscas out and detail out for sure. Lots of what I'm doing. I could probably get a dotting tool and work it in here and create like kind of like an energetic painting.
Mm-hmm.
Fluid paints, which would be really quite spectacular. Getting into my yellow greens now. I'm taking my green into my cad yellow and I'm making sure that not just my whites have drama, but that the greens are also quite dramatic.
Right. Quite dramatic.
Yeah. Like the clouds, right? We can add that. Like the clouds. There's no end to what we can bring. This painting, your painting, my painting, any of the paintings, it can be better than real.
Mm.
You know, we can take a little of our magenta and our purple, quite a lot of our white. We can also touch little bits of color out there. Maybe more white than this, though. Still in the white. I still want it to be quite bright. I just want to have that little kiss, you know? There we go. Here a little bit. See how those colors all add? And they make it more.
That's super lovely.
It's not boring. Not meaningless. It matters.
Wow. Getting some little details in there.
Maybe, yeah. Some little thoughts.
Yeah.
I want a little more control over it. Probably focus it here. And I think I want some little pops. That's just a me thing. For when I'm looking. Because there are these little pops.
Mm-hmm. I see them.
My little detail brush, my number one. I've got a little bit of my Cad yellow and if need be a little Cad red. You know, creating little spots. The Cad red just keeps it from being just too much.
Right.
Just little bits in there. And you could splatter. For sure. If you needed to. Yeah, but sometimes it's just nice to have a little bit of that strong. Right, we have these like deep yellows.
They really do come in there and just pop it.
And when you're looking at a reference, when you're looking at something, I think it's important when I sat and looked at this to decide, did I want to paint it? I thought a lot about like, what about this, right? What about it was important to me?
Now you've added a bit of a corridor of light here.
Yes. Yes, I have.
You want to talk about that?
So, you mean more than earlier?
Well, just, making sure, like here you really see it now with that yellow and...
right. It is.
Like, it's super observable there.
It's very observable now. I think in paintings, when we're creating these worlds, right? Because we have these little worlds that we create. I'm just going to tap out little bits of impasto, interesting hard-edged paint. When I have this sky that speaks to me like a higher power, like an almost like uplifting moment, right? And you've got this here, and you have this beautiful tree, and it's backlit, and it's got its halo. And I can do a field, and because maybe there's mist and it didn't really necessarily have that sense of light, but like water, your landscape, you can use light and value and color to create an invitation for yourself, for the viewer, into the painting.
Mm.
And to me, moments like this, space like this, it invites the viewer in. I was not trying to be like argumentative as I talked about earlier. So I was like, I didn't know what I missed.
No. I mean, just like, it's really evident there with that yellow corridor. It just, you can super.
Because it's really visible now.
Yeah.
And just when you think like, well, what could a little brush do that the big brush didn't? But you see the little brush can do stuff that the big brush didn't.
That seems like the beginning of like a Sherpa riddle.
What did the little brush do that the big brush couldn't when the big brush couldn't brush?
It stayed on its toes.
And danced across the canvas, as everybody knows, when a little brush dances on a canvas. And there in the morning, the dawn's painted light, the flowers lit up, so they could invite you are in the painter into the world where the colors blend together in a harmonious swirl. I'm riffing!
You're totally doing it! Go Sherpa, go Sherpa. Drop the paintbrush, go Sherpa.
Oh. Sing all the places, need a little paint, need a little deep. Did I forget to do another step? Did I?
You so skipped the steps. We were like just discussing
I'm
that
gonna
over
be
here.
like,
You just went straight to, I'm finishing in this thing.
I meant to do another step so I wouldn't stop on the step, but I did. Am I stopping on 12 or am I stopping on 13?
Well, so it depends. If you would do another step, the next step would be 13. This is step 12.
All right, then we're going to stay on 12 and not.
Oh, we could skip 13 and go to 14.
No, we're good. I think we're wrapping up. And as long
You're
as
wrapping.
everybody understands how we got here.
We got here by following you.
Follow me, follow me.
Someone thought that would be a good idea. So we got here. And here we are.
It's not dissimilar to how we do little moments, is it? On a little painting. I'll get a little yellow green. I do think it should be light here, but it should be maybe a little muted from that. There. See, the light kind of goes back. It says, come here. Dance with me. Play with me. We've got so much to do. And at this stage you can find so many. So now what's happened is I found all these little magical flowers.
Mm-hmm.
And these are moments that sometimes will happen in your painting, and I can't stop locating them and turning my love and attention on them. When I paint on my own, just for, I'm not necessarily teaching, and I'm just loading little bits on the brush and tapping this around.
Yeah.
When I paint on my own, all the time, a moment will come up in my canvas where I'm just like, this needs a little more of me in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't stop finding those little moments sometimes that the canvas just knows it's going to be loved. And it maybe sometimes goes a different way.
Yeah.
Because the opportunity in that moment, I would never want to be so wrapped up in a direction that the opportunity of the moment is not accessible to me, especially in a painting. Never so wrapped up in a reference, never so wrapped up in a concept sketch, never so wrapped up in any plan.
Yeah.
That the moment, a magic moment that shows up in a painting, I don't choose to lean into it. You always want to leave space in a lesson, a tutorial, in any painting that you're doing, any reference, to listen to your artist brain when it says, there's magic happening right now. You're tapping into something special and deep and
Mm-hmm. This is really pretty magical.
okay. I think that this world, and it's quiet, isn't it, in this world?
Yeah.
This is, for so much drama, this is such a quiet world. It's such a delightful, quiet world. And we've kind of built almost an embankment and an implied path and the flowers. Yeah, and they are white, but they're so impacted by the sky is almost, coming down on them, and it feels soft and delicate and special. I think it's really rather lovely in every way that it could be.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, that's
All
probably
right,
really
well, where's that-
startling from where we were.
So where does that bring us?
I think that brings us to the signature
I
and
think
our
so.
time together coming to an end today.
It's true.
I hope you loved today's painting. I really loved doing today's painting.
I loved it.
Trying to decide what I want to sign over here with. I think I'll take a little of my blue and white. I always like signatures to be legible and readable, but never disruptive.
Mm-hmm.
Every mark on a surface matters, even your signature. Some artists feel it matters the most. I'd say for me, it's information for the viewer.
Yeah.
The connection across time from me to somebody else. It should be there and be legible, but I wouldn't want it to take away from all this effort
Yeah.
that I put into something, that I dove into, and I was like, this painting. I mean, I could do this painting like 5 or 6 times.
Oh, yeah.
And I would play with it. Like, probably I would highlight red here. Like, looking at this now, I'm getting into reds and oranges and highlight them along this side of the silhouette of the tree.
Yeah.
And then probably play with cool turquoise coming down here, and I might detail out some spectacular light. Like, if I was like, where could I push this next? Where could I push this next? Like, I'm almost sorry I signed it because I see those things down. I'm like,
If you want to put a little touch up on there, you can touch up.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, sometimes when you're in a painting, you're like, where is this? And you think to yourself, sorry guys, that happens. Like,
hold on just a second. Could you, if I put up this isn't a step 13, but let's say I was able
let's call it like a
after sign.
After sign. Yeah, let's put up an after sign.
Let me see if I can get an after sign.
Because I see things here that I would do just for myself as an artist, where I'm looking at this, where I'm like, this could have this moment, and this could be this little space.
Yeah. Let me see what I can do over here, so I can get us a different step.
I want to paint. I'm like anxious.
Did you see it there? I'm
Twix is like whining at me though. She's like, "You're supposed to be done. You
All
said
right,
the thing. You said the thing."
Here's the after sign step. And I'll have to take a picture because this is the
Oh, like get a picture.
get a picture of the after.
And then yeah, get this picture here and then I'll yeah. You guys don't mind, do you? I mean, we're here anyways and huh? Bonus content. Cuz I'm just all right. So in a painting like this, light is everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I'm looking at it, I see these things in it.
Bonus moves.
Yeah, they are though. They're these little wonderful things that could be,
You gotta stay for the bonus moves.
why we're artists, right?
Extra light. You can always add extra light.
But it was always there, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Extra light. Oh, don't you love that on the tree?
I do.
Oh, see, it's like, it's not a fall tree. It's just that the light found it and she loves the tree. Sun, the tree, how wonderful it is. And it's like at this edge because that's where the corridor is coming. That's what it is. It's just, thank you, baby. I really appreciate it. I was feeling a need. Wix is not appreciating the extension.
She's over somewhere. Oh, she's just growing.
She's like, you said sign.
I know what that means. Grr.
That means it's baking time.
Nope. We have more moves.
She's feeling it. Oh, look at that.
Ooh.
I'm not sorry.
You can't make me sorry.
I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry. I've just wiped out. So what I've done is I've taken a little yellow and white and I'm coming here and are you practice drumming, John?
Nope.
Because I've been on so long that you've I've
Nope.
lost your attention span.
I'm just sitting here watching you do your thing.
Yeah,
Twix is over here trying to get my attention.
Oh yeah, she's just had it with us.
She's just got her thing. She decided she couldn't get any more of your attention, so she's over here saying, me, 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 me.
So what I'm doing here is I want to kind of exaggerate some of the center of this.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit.
Bringing in the light.
A little more. You see?
Uh-huh.
There's this opportunity. Yeah, see, there's this opportunity. And then, as I said, I would probably get into some turquoise or some things where I might. Talk about how things are lit up here. Because why wouldn't it be? You know? Just down the center. Everything's just maybe a little bit magical and focal here. And I think sometimes, when I'm painting, again, you never want to be so, that's a little bright, but you never want to be so wrapped up that you couldn't find this moment.
Oh, yeah.
And look how the light's coming down now.
Oh, it's so good.
Because it would come down a little bit. It would find its way down the valley and it would say, "Good morning." "Good morning, how are you today?" And the valley would say, "Quiet. How are you, light?" Light would say, "Oh, pretty good." Pretty good. Today I'm pretty good. Yesterday maybe. Today I come to shine. And the valley could say,
Mm.
"We missed you. We missed you, light." And grab a little orange and tell a little story. And the story was good.
Yeah.
You never know how the story's going to go. You get into the story, think, this painting's going to be about this. It ends up being about something else entirely.
Yeah?
Yeah. Sometimes it ends up just being about, the way the light is in this valley. How that makes us feel so happy. It wants to come down. It does. It wants to
Mm.
say hi. How are you? How are you?
So there's no tree shadow here. This is the way it's so far off you really can't see it because of the field of flowers, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, there really isn't. But that doesn't mean that you couldn't play with it
Mm-hmm.
if you felt it should be there. See how now there's that drama down there?
Yeah.
Mm.
That's so good.
Yeah, I think that was, something that we wanted to perhaps capture. Talk about and see. Isn't that nice when you can kind of even light up the trunk?
Yep.
And light up the world around it, get in there and play.
Yeah.
That light should come through this tree and dance and dance and dance. Just taking the orange and piecing out. Remember how we did up in the sky? We came back and we put in highlights.
Yeah.
We put in that wonderful space. Look, it's dancing in the leaves now. Tapping it in. As you paint, sometimes you'll see these moments. You'll be like, I see it. You didn't see it initially, but you'll start to see it.
Yeah.
Didn't know you were there. And it will say, I was here all along, waiting for you to notice me. twinkling, thinking that you might see me. Oh my goodness, I'm so happy. All right, thank you guys for putting up with that, because those little touches, I feel like those are the touches that just make a piece feel like, oh,
Yeah, they really do.
you know,
Take it to
just
that
like you
next-
push a little light here, you pop a little bit here, yes, you have a place that you start, you have an idea that you start with, but like, be flexible enough in your own artistic journey to recognize that something's happening that maybe goes beyond your starting point or beyond your plan or your rough draft or your sketch or your references. And that's where I think that moment where you see me see all those things, that's what we try to talk about when we're saying, oh, that's voice or that's style.
Yeah.
Is that way that you look at a piece and say, but like, let's put up the reference.
Okay.
See, style.
Yeah.
Right? It's not that I didn't start from a place, but it's that in that artistic inner clockwork, listening to yourself in that and recognizing that there's more there than what meets the eye. More to you than what meets the eye, and more to the painting sometimes than meets the eye. Oh my goodness, thank you guys for staying for the bonus content. Whoever stayed.
Oh, yes, we had lots of our community staying for the bonus content. It's so nice.
Bonus content is good, and it's kind of where that's where it is. And I guess we'll get the last picture of this, and I want to say, be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. And I want to see you at an easel really soon. Bye.
Don't think too hard, it's easy. Plus, it's a lot of fun.